Master the art of debugging with essential exception methods, because knowing the why saves the day. Welcome everyone. In today's session, we are going to talk about common exception methods. So without wasting any time further, let's proceed with the video. Now following are some common methods of exception. Now till now we have seen what are the various types of exceptions available in Apex. Now all these exceptions are represented with help of class, and in the previous video we have also seen how we can utilize these classes in the try-catch block to catch a specific exception and stop our program from getting closed abruptly. Now all these exception class are inherited from one exception class, that is the parent exception class, and because of that all these exception class share some common methods. We can utilize these methods to know more about the exception being caught. One of the method is getCause method. It returns the underlying cause of the exception as an exception object. getLineNumber returns the line number from where the exception was thrown. getMessage returns the error message as in form of a string that is displayed for the user. getStackTraceString returns the stack trace of a thrown exception, which is showing the exception stack, like specifically in the case when a method is calling another method which itself is calling another method, an exception is getting thrown from the first initial method. getTypeName returns the type of exception in form of a string. Now it's time to check out these methods and see how we can utilize these methods to know more about the exception. So here we are in our org, and let's quickly go to the developer console to check out these methods in case of an exception. Okay guys, so I have opened my developer console and you can see this multiple catches class which I have created in the previous video. Now here I am using my own messages over here to explain what is happening, what sort of exception is happening. Now here I am commenting out this system debug, and instead of that I am going to use some of the methods of the exception class. Now here inside this catch block I am having this list exception object LE, and I can use this LE object and call those methods. So let me quickly use those methods over here and then we will see what is out. Okay guys, so I have implemented those changes, and now you can see in each catch I am having different system debugs, and there I am calling all those getter methods: getCause, getLineNumber, getMessage, getStackTrace and getTypeName. And here I am printing all of them. So let's check out what it prints in case of those exceptions. So I am opening my anonymous window, and here on the anonymous window I will call the print quotient, and this time I am passing 15 and 0. So definitely it will come here in the math exception. So let's execute, and here let's click on debug only. You can see cause is null, line number is 6, message is divide by 0, stack trace is actually telling about the method. Okay, so right now only one method is being called, and that method is actually creating the exception. Now this can lead to a stack trace. I will show you that stack trace in a while, don't worry about that. And after that it is showing that anonymous block. From the anonymous block, from line number 2 we are calling this print quotient, and exception is getting generated from the line number 6 of print quotient. So let me show you that. From the anonymous window you can see I am calling it from line number 2, from where it reached to the print quotient method, and from here line number 6 is actually generating the exception. Now I will show you a depth of stack trace, how it appears, like in a while, don't worry about that. And in the type it is printing math exception, that is the exception type. So clearly line number is very important because it leads to that specific line number which is generating the exception. Even stack trace is important because it can help us to understand the actual calling of the methods, the stack in which the method is getting called, and hence the stack will help us to actually reach the point which can generate the exception, or which can be the cause of the exception. So I will tell you about that in a while, don't worry. Let's see what it prints in case of the other exception. So here I will pass a blank list, so a list without any value, and now let me click on execute. If I check the debug only now, this time the exception is list exception. You can see it is coming from line number 4 of the print quotient method. Basically the calling method is from line number 2 of the anonymous window, that is fine. Message is saying list index out of bounds. So certainly these common methods are quite handy to know more about the exception. Now let me show you an example in which I can explain you the print stack trace. Okay guys, so I have implemented the changes over here. Now let me show you what I am doing. I have created an add to list and call method where I am passing two integer variables x and y. I am adding these integer variables to this list of integer. Then I am checking if any of these integer variables, not both, okay, so here should be or. So if any of these integer variable is null, that means if x is null or if y is null, then I am calling this print quotient method by passing a list of integer without any element. And in case if both of them are not null, then I am calling this print quotient method by passing this actual list. Okay. So now what I am doing is here I will call add to list and call, and this time I will pass null as any of the value. I am passing any of the value as null. Okay. And now I am calling the execute. Now you see, let me click on debug only, and here you can see cause is null. Okay, cause is actually null. Line number is 4. Message is list index out of bounds. Okay, now you can see the stack trace. It is telling me that the actual exception is coming from print quotient method line number 4. This is the actual cause of the exception. But this print quotient method is getting called from the add to list and call method, which is line number 38. Okay, of this class. Okay, so from line number 38, let's check out line number 38. So this number line, so this is calling, right, the print quotient. Fine. And this add to list is getting called from anonymous block line number 2. So now I hope you understood the stack trace. What the stack trace does, it tells you a stack of method calls and it actually takes you back to the position from the actual method is being called. So you can identify the place which is causing the exception thing. Okay. So all these methods were get methods, and these methods are basically used to get the information about the exception. Init cause and set message are the two methods which is used to set the value in the exception. Now they are useful specifically in the case of custom exception. Now till now we haven't covered custom exception yet, but in the coming videos we will talk about custom exceptions. So there you will understand the use of init cause and the set message. Basically init cause is used to set the cause. Now this cause is actually the cause which is printed by calling the get cause method. So init cause is the method which is used to call to set the cause of the exception. And set message is a method which is used to call the message of the exception. So these methods we will use when we will create a custom exception. Till then there is no use of these methods. Now guys, that marks the end of this session. See you soon in the next session. Till then, thank you and take care.